In the summertime, we are exposed to a lot of sun, but we're also exposed to a lot of myths about skincare. But today we're going to debunk all of those myths, and that's why we have Dr. Seale of Pinnacle Dermatology joining us today, and she's going to help us determine what's true and false. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that I've grown up hearing, Dr. Seale, is that the higher the SPF, the more protected we are. Is that true?
You know, for a lot of people, the SPF 30 is plenty, and that's what we recommend that people use on a daily basis on their face, their neck and chest, and also make sure they hit the ears. Now, if you're going to be out for a long time, I know a lot of people, you know, in Michigan, we spend a lot of time on the lakes. There's a lot of reflection of those UV rays. Might be good to go up to a 50 or 70. Honestly, going above a 70 isn't going to offer you that much more protection. But if you like your SPF 100 and that's what you've been using, I would say continue it.
Continue doing that. Okay. Well, another myth that I've heard growing up a lot is that you only need to apply sunscreen when you go outside. Now, for me, sometimes I will tell you I love my indoors as much as I love the outdoors. But is that true or false?
That is false. So actually, even when the sun, you aren't necessarily seeing it, the sun is seeing you. So going in and out of buildings, sitting next to a window, driving back and forth, all those times are times where we're being exposed to UV rays. So even if, you know, you're not laying out by the pool or doing a summertime activity, you still need to have that SPF on. A one-time application, like I was saying, to the entire face, making sure you bring it down into the neck and chest and also hit the ears, is one time in the morning is fine. Now, for if you're going to be outdoors, if you're playing sports, if you're going out on the boat, all those kinds of things, definitely want you to reapply every 2 hours. And then another important part of being outdoors at that time is to make sure that you're seeking shade between 10 and 6. That's when the sun is highest in the sky, and that's when your exposure to UV rays is highest. So you also want to wear a wide brim hat.
Now, another myth that I've heard a lot growing up, now I know this one is not true, but I have a hard time convincing my family that the more melanin you have, the less you'll need to actually apply sunscreen. Is that true or false?
That is false, actually. Melanin only gives you SPF of about 8. So again, my recommendation is that you use at least SPF 30. So melanin does not actually protect you. And it's not uncommon that I will have patients come in to see me and they'll say, you know, I got sunburned. I didn't even think that this could happen to me because I'm brown skinned. And I'm like, no, you 100% can definitely still get a sunburn. And then the other reason that it's important for us to wear sunscreen is because that extra UV ray that we get when we don't wear sunscreen does increase our risk for skin cancer. Now, not as much as a fairer skinned person, but certainly we want to protect ourselves from any type of cancer, and this is a simple way to do that. The other reason we want to make sure we're wearing that SPF is because we also want to protect ourselves from aging that's caused by the sun. So we say black don't crack, which is true. It does provide, you know, some extra protection, but if you really want to go the extra mile and make sure you're looking, you know, 30 when you're 50, you want to make sure you're wearing sunscreen daily.
And let me tell you, that's why I put that on earlier this morning. But speaking of, you've brought some of those products that you recommend here with us on the table. Can you quickly walk me through what we have?
Absolutely. So I have 2 tinted sunscreens and then 1 non-tinted sunscreen. The reason that I wanted to make sure we talked about the tinted sunscreens in particular, and this one by Epionce is my favorite. I actually have it on today. And then the Ulta MD tinted one is the first tinted one I ever tried. But there is a wavelength of light called the visible light spectrum. That spectrum of light actually causes certain conditions that are related to hyperpigmentation or darkness of the skin to become worse. They need to have this tinted sunscreen on board. But for a non-tinted sunscreen, if you're not struggling with any of those things and you just want something that's going to go on nice, I really like the Ulta MD, the UV Clear. This is a great product. It is a mixed chemical and physical block, meaning that it has a chemical sunscreen in it, and it also has zinc oxide in it. So it goes on very nice for all skin tones, so this is a great product to use as long as your skin isn't too sensitive.
All right, well, thank you so much, Dr. Seale. You've given us not just information about how to protect our skin during the summer, but all throughout the year. Now, if somebody would like to book an appointment with you, how can they do that?
So the best way to do it is to visit pinnacleskin.com, and they can book directly there with us.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much. I think I definitely want to try that tinted moisturizer one that you have. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
All right, I'll keep those skincare tips